لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة مقام المعبود الذي وحده. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, elders, friends, children, first of all, I want to really thank you. May Allah reward all the volunteers who organize all through Ramadan, during Taraweeh, Iftar, and then Eid prayers. We got nothing but praise, and may Allah give them ajr for that in this world and hereafter. It's also, I'm happy to be back to, I go all over town, but coming here is always very nice because you see so many familiar faces. If you go to other masjid, you see maybe 2-3 guys that you know, so it's nice to be back here. Of course, we are still bathing in the glory of Ramadan. Just a couple of days ago it finished. We dedicated the month to prayer, fasting, and self-reflection. Now it has come to close. But its effects are continuing in our hearts, and I hope it continues. Ramadan has ended. We're going back to our pre-Ramadan schedules. Let's try to focus on the good habits that we acquired during Ramadan. Ramadan is a time when we are told to work for achieving taqwa, so we can be successful in this world and hereafter. Let's continue that journey. Now, the most emphasized point for Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so you acquire taqwa. There is Islam, which is accepting the faith. Somebody who comes in, takes shahada, that's the level of Islam. You go further, that's the level higher, which is mu'min. You take iman. And then other level even higher is called ihsan, and that is achieved through taqwa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained that you fast during this month, so you achieve taqwa. And taqwa, of course, will make you a better mu'min. The word taqwa, as we have said many times, it has so many meanings. There is no word in English language or even Urdu. Some say God-fearing, parhezgari in Urdu, and so on. But it just has a unique meaning to itself. Okay? All right. Everybody hear me? Okay. So it has a unique meaning, and you go to Quran to look for different meanings and different passages which describe this, so we can achieve the meaning. Ramadan was a time to reorient ourselves towards Allah, redefining our relationship with time, community, and natural world. The focus, like I said, is to achieve taqwa. Taqwa happens, as scholars have explained, it is as to make a spiritual connection. Our bodies, our nafs wants to please ourselves, to eat and enjoy all the bounties of the world. But when you're fasting, you are on a different platform. You are making that spiritual connection so you can be better. This is what Ramadan is all about. Taqwa makes you a better mu'min. So let's talk about a little bit about Iman or being mu'min, which can lead to success in this world and hereafter. How do we define success? Of course, talking about this world, we think about money, education, nice family, status, jobs, whatever you can think of. Those are all good things as long as it's with Iman and faith. That's for this world. And if you do it right, you will be rewarded in the hereafter. So we need to have success in this world and in the hereafter. Like Quran teaches us again, رَبَّنَا أَتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. That give us good in this world and good in the akhirah. So I looked through passages of Quran. Let's see how is success defined. Because in Ramadan you were having taqwa, you were developing a taqwa, and taqwa made you a better mu'min. And Quran says mu'mineen are successful. So one of the passages very famous is Surah Mu'minun, beginning a few ayahs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. If you are a mu'min, true in your heart, you are successful. What are the definitions of a mu'min? And thus, again, as I read these passages, make that connection that in Ramadan you are developing that characteristic so you become successful. First is الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. That means they pray with full attention, and their heart and mind is tied with the prayer. Of course, it's easy to say, especially in long prayers in Taraweeh and so on, your mind drifts, but you need to come back, keep coming back, because that's impossible for general people like us to have total attention. Even Sahaba had that trouble, and Prophet ﷺ say this is normal. If you were like this and you were always thinking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you'll be an angel. So it's a human trait that we go drift. But we need to work on the khushu, to be focused on the prayers. The next is hum anil lagwi mu'ridun. And lagw means anything that is frivolous, anything that is not giving you any benefit. Too much WhatsApp, too much news, too much this and that. There are so many things. In Ramadan, hopefully, since we were fasting, there was very little time, and you had hours and hours that you spent iftar, getting ready for Taraweeh, coming and praying, and so on. You didn't have time to do those things. So on and so forth. So the definition of a mu'min is he stays away from lagw or useless activities. That's very important. So you need to do salah. You need to be away from the useless activities. And the next thing that we emphasize in Ramadan, which is going to lead us to success, is hum lizakati fa'ilun. So these are the ones who do zakat, and I'm sure a lot of us calculate our zakat on some day in Ramadan. Typically, I do it first of Ramadan. That's called the hawl date. That's the date that you go back to last year. Any money that's with you, you give zakat, calculate zakat on it. And one point, it is not a lecture about zakat, but if you have a lot of zakat to give, you set that money aside. It's sometimes not possible to give all the zakat in the month of Ramadan. Give as much as possible, but save it. And I learned that a long time ago, because the need arises all year long. It's not only Ramadan. So give whoever is needy, but sometimes in December or October or something will come up and you say, I have already given my zakat, I don't have any money for this cause. So save some money, put that in an account, or at least keep track of it and give it from there. And that is to purify your wealth, of course. Another important thing, وَهُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. They protect their chastity. In Ramadan, we are forbidden from activities with your family and with your wife and so on. And for all our life, we need to be careful how you protect yourself and have the chastity that is needed. Of course, it further defines إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مُلُومِينَ. this is another topic, I'm not going to go much into that, but they stick to their spouses for conjugal relationship. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. They seek to go beyond that limit are truly transgressors. So those people who don't follow these, they are not right people, they are transgressors, they're going beyond. So that was one definition. We said salah, we said zakat, we said lagh, and we said furujihim, they guard their chastity. The next thing, hum li amanatihim wa ahdihim ra'un. Any kind of trust you make, any kind of contract you make, that is for your job, for family, friends, whatever, you abide by it, you follow those. You don't just make contracts or make agreements and then don't do it. That's the definition of success, that's the definition of a mu'min. And then come back, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَىٰ صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ, that they protect their prayers. Ramadan was that boot camp where you practiced. We knew the prayer timings to the minute. In other times we were not as regular, but in Ramadan, hopefully most of us prayed on time and made it to the masjid whenever we could. So that is another way of training, another way to achieve success, which is mentioned here. And then in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. They are the ones who are inheritors. They inherit, what do they inherit? الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. They will inherit the paradise where they will live forever. But that is the goal of our life. That's what we should be achieving, to get Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. Coming back to Ramadan schedules, we have physical and spiritual needs, both. If you only focus on the bodily needs, that is not a way to success. Of course, in this world, if you eat too much, you're going to get fat, and that is an epidemic, basically, in the modern society of too much food. So, of course, our body requires food, drink, and material goods. And we live in a materialistic society, so you're always wanting to acquire more things to be comfortable and so on. And you should provide whatever is necessary. But Ramadan was the time that we were in a training session. Everything changed, and I'm sure it changed for everybody. Our bodily needs go down. We discipline ourselves not to succumb to bodily desires. Our spiritual life gets improved, I hope. By not giving our body what it desires, we flourish our spirits. By suppressing the bodily needs, we attend to more spirit. And that's the path to success. The Mu'mineen definition I described, you can achieve that. I hope all of us achieved some goals that we set in Ramadan. We were punctual for prayers. We knew which day of Ramadan it was because we're tracking when is the Eid, so we can do iftar and quit fasting. And we knew the salah timings. And hopefully we all became better Muslims. We set goals for ourselves in worship, which we don't normally do that. Someone I know, they said they finished the whole Quran with translation during Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, may Allah give them more so they can learn more. And this is the blessing of Ramadan because, shaitan is tied down. It doesn't have as much effect on you. You can do more. So do that. Fasting trained our soul. Through Qiyam and Siyam, we increased our awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, increased our power, willpower. We proved that we can control our passions and desires. We increased our patience and ability to abstain from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden. We realized that our needs are beyond animal desires of eating, drinking, and procreation. We realized we have greater abilities and roles in life. No one except Allah was watching us, fast or not fast or drink or whatever, but we still did it. I always like to refer to a story that I can't forget, and I referred that in another masjid a couple of weeks ago. I was traveling in Jeddah with some people, and there was an Irish man, white guy, non-Muslim. And we finished our business, we were headed to the airport, and then it was lunchtime. He said, we got our lunch, and we found out that this is Zohar time, and on those days, the restaurants used to be closed, so we couldn't find an open place. We said, okay, we'll go to the airport and, of course, eat there. He said, I can't skip lunch, I get crazy, I gotta have it. And we realized, it wasn't Ramadan, we were hungry, but it's not like we couldn't wait half an hour until we get to the airport and get some fries or whatever we wanted. So we realized that the training of Ramadan has made us stronger. Ramadan might have been 6 months away, but learning to be hungry and not feeding ourselves every day, we were more stronger. So these are just a few benefits of Ramadan that you become. Now, even the science, if you heard of intermittent fasting, before people didn't know what that was, but now the latest research shows that if you deprive your body of food, and now latest research came out of Baylor College of Medicine recently, that even food and drink, you deprive for a few hours, that is so much better for your health. Now, if you didn't gouge in food and ate too much at iftar, which a lot of us do, if you're careful, you are healthier and you don't, hopefully you won't gain weight, hopefully you lose weight. So remember these and practice that in your normal life when you're not fasting. We learned that we don't have to be slaves of our desires. We can control our desires in Ramadan. We can do it after Ramadan also. We proved that we can command and control our desires and needs. And that is again, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, we become mu'min, and that is the way to success. In our material world, we are always competing for more. The more physical things you have, more you want. It never ends because there is so much available. You're bombarded with advertisements and desires to buy another car, to get a newer house and buy new gadgets and so on. And all that is good if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, but that should not be your only focus. We need to learn to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ramadan or no Ramadan. Make time for worship. Serve humanity. Serve the less fortunate. There are many opportunities in this city to go and serve people who are needy. We had a record number, if I'm not mistaken, of shahadas this Ramadan, because I prayed here every single night, and every 3-4 days there was somebody taking shahada, alhamdulillah. Maybe it was the effect of what's happening in Gaza, or just Muslims watching Muslims, or non-Muslims watching Muslims, how we behave and how we do. And that is really a blessing. There are many people who came to Islam by just observing. I know there's another case, this guy has been Muslim for longest time, like since the 90s. And he said, nobody gave me dawah, nobody talked to me. But I watched some Saudi brothers in the university, they quit eating lunch. So after a while, I said, I don't know what happened. The government called them back or what, this is the middle of semester. But when he saw them in the library, he said, hi, you guys are not coming to lunch anymore. He said, we're fasting. He said, that was my beginning of journey to Islam. It took him a few years to do that. But nobody gave him dawah. The guys have said, we are fasting. He said, what is fasting? How does it work? What's your faith? And that's how he discovered. So many people have come to Islam by just observing. So we need to be at the best behavior when you're dealing with non-Muslims, so they can get more curious about what we do and how we behave. By being hungry and thirsty, we found joy in doing this for the sake of Allah. Because like I said, nobody was watching you. You enjoyed suhoor, iftar, community spirit. Every day, hundreds of people came here to do iftar. 1,000 people or more sometimes came for Taraweeh, mashallah. Stay addicted to this practice, because this is the way for our success. Now, we are very lucky to be living in this area, especially Stafford, Missouri City, Sugar Land area. We have more masajid per square mile here probably in Saudi Arabia. I've lived there for many years. You can get to any masjid within 10 minutes. All over town probably. I don't know how many masajid are here. Maybe 300 or 200. I don't know what the number is. ISGA has about 22 or something. But there are masajid. You go on Google, and wherever area of town you are in, you'll find a masjid nearby, alhamdulillah. So use that facility. People have worked hard to build this masajid. Build more masajid so we can make it easy. But don't be a Friday Salli only. Try to increase that. Come for Isha at least. It's very easy to do. Beyond good Isha and Fajr at least. You can do that. And whatever other prayers, sometimes you are at work and so on. But come to the masjid. Let's see the masajid being filled at least the way it is right now. That will be an accomplishment, inshallah. So make a irada, make a decision that you're going to try to do that. I know we have other requirements, family things, dinner, so on and so forth, but try to come to the masjid. I hope that we achieve some self-discipline, self-control, self-training, self-restraint, and self-education, and self-evaluation during the holy month. Let's continue. So this is, like I said, it's called the قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. There is the path to success. There are two types of people. First one is one who Allah has given success in Ramadan, and I hope we are all one of them. This was the month of Quran, kindness and goodness, to worship Him and perform the obligations. If you did that, you are being successful. We avoided the sins. This person who is in tune with Ramadan, he saved himself from evils. He perfected his deeds. It is necessary for this type of person to be grateful to Allah. If you did that, be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةِ اللَّهِ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Whatever you favor you have, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So know that whatever favor you've been given is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So continue to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should be, that person who is in tune with Ramadan, he should be steadfast in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Distance himself from anything that's forbidden. Allah commanded to be steadfast on the straight path until our death. In Surah Al-Hijr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ, and worship your Lord until there comes to you a certainty, which is death. So we have that, alhamdulillah, inshallah, but keep thinking of that. The believer performs righteous deeds and thinks well of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Reward is expected. So this person who took full advantage of Ramadan was blessed with the righteous deeds in this noble month, accumulated many hours in his balance of good deeds. That was investment in the akhirah. I always like to talk about investment because I deal with investments. So you invest in this world for your well-being through work or whatever other businesses you have, but you invest in the akhirah, so that will be, you will be rewarded later on. And there were many opportunities, and the opportunities are still there to do that. People who were fasting, they purified their tongues and limbs by reciting Allah's book and performed deeds bringing him closer to Creator. They distanced themselves from what Allah has forbidden. I hope we did that. Once you achieve this, and the reminder for Ramadan, after Ramadan, is that let's not replace obedience of Allah with sins. We should not exchange the illumination of insight with the darkness of vain desires and doubts, because shaitan is free now, so you have more challenge. We should not replace purest moments with the turbulence of the worldly life and negligence of heart. We should not follow the good deeds with bad deeds. But how wonderful it is, a good deed performed after a good deed. And how ugly it is, the bad deed performed after a good deed. Actually, the good deeds wipe away your previous bad deeds. In Surah Hud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ ذَلِكَ ذِكْرَى لِلذَّاكِرِينَ. Indeed, good deeds do away with misdeeds. That is a reminder for those who remember. So Ramadan was a time of cleansing ourselves. So let's take advantage of that. On the other hand, sins performed after good deeds, Ramadan is over and you start going back to your old life, that will diminish your rewards that you had earned and even cancel the entire righteous deed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, Surah Muhammad, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمُ اتَّبَعُوا مَا أَسْخَطَ اللَّهَ وَكَرِهُوا رِضْوَانَهُ فَأَحْبَطَ أَعْمَالَهُم. That is because they followed what angered Allah and disliked His pleasure. So He rendered worthless their deeds. So their deeds got wiped out. So while we are deceived by life and well-being, we think that this term is going to be forever. We can keep doing it. Because if you talk to other faiths, they really don't have, if you ever worked in Dawah circles, they really don't have that concept of akhirah. Christians say, oh, Jesus Christ will save us. So you can do whatever you want, Jesus Christ will save us. And that doesn't make sense. You have to be responsible for your own deeds. And if you go to Hinduism, they said, cycle of life is life and death. Whatever you do, you go away, there is no reckoning. Yeah, they have a little bit that you will come back as a lesser being than human, but they don't have that concept that you will be rewarded or punished. Islam is the unique person. When you talk to people, when you're doing dawah, if it registers with them, that's when they get really. We do host some people from Christian people or Hindu or whatever in this masjid every now and then, and you describe that to them, they kind of get interested. So this sounds very interesting, but they have never been taught that way. We described our faith. So may Allah keep us on that path and keep thinking of the akhirah. We missed Ramadan already. We miss fasting, stay and praying during the night. Come to the masjid, last night I was here, and there were probably 20% of people that came in Ramadan. I know it's difficult, you're busy, social life, so on, but try to come whenever you're sitting at home and try to make it to the masjid, wherever you are. We ask Allah Almighty to accept our deeds. We need to continue. One way to continue the spirit of Ramadan is to fast some more. It has been recommended, and I'm sure you keep hearing that, to fast 6 more days in Shawwal. It doesn't have to be starting next day after Eid. The entire month is available to you. You fast 6 more days anytime during the month of Shawwal. And then you can fast on Mondays and Thursdays all year long. You can fast 13, 14, and 15. They're called white days or Ayyam al-Abiyad. You can fast during those days. Not possible for everybody to do that. Some people are very good at it. But if you want to keep the spirit of Ramadan alive, fast a little bit. And your routine will not be as tied up because you don't have the long iftars and taraweehs and social elements. So it could fit into your daily work schedule. A philosopher said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act but a habit. I think it was Stephen Covey who said that. So if you keep doing something, like we fasted for 30 days, we stayed away from so many things, we did a lot of charity and so on, it's in your habit now. Don't just walk away. Use some of that to practice so we can keep doing this. May Allah reward those who fasted during the month of Ramadan. May Allah reward those who are performing Taraweeh and Qiyam prayers during the month of Ramadan. May Allah reward those who recited the whole Quran, who listened to it during the month. May Allah reward those who observed the night of power, Laylatul Qadr. May Allah reward those brothers and sisters and increase the sustenance who invited people to their homes for iftar and supported iftars in masajid. This one question always comes up, that there's a lot of wastage of food. There is no stopping. The hadith says give food to Saim, give it iftar to Saim. It doesn't say for poor or this thing. We shouldn't be wasteful, but that tradition, if people are willing to donate and do the work, I really admire these volunteers who worked on that. When we started this masjid 30 years ago, I think only Shahzad Satriwala is here with me. Other people have passed away, may Allah maghfirat them. There were like 50 people in Ramadan. We do iftar, we bring food from our homes. And now look at there are 300, 400 around us. Sometimes there's 1,000 people. Brother Asif Malik might know better. So let's continue the tradition if we can afford to do that, because there is barakah in that. And may Allah increase their reward. May Allah bless those who paid Zakatul Fitr. May Allah reward those who paid their zakat on their wealth. And if you haven't done that and you have account, start giving, because that's a big reward in that purifies your wealth. May Allah reward those who wake up after midnight, early dawn for tahajjud, a few minutes before suhoor. And may Allah reward those volunteers, like I said, during Ramadan, those who led salah and gave talks to guide ummah and all kinds of work. This is the end because time is running out. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We've been told to remind, again, I mentioned it earlier, if you haven't paid your zakat, Zakatul Fitr time was before Eid. So if you haven't paid, I don't know what the issue is, if you haven't paid that yet. For every single person in your family, even the newborn child who was born a night before Ramadan, you have to give Zakatul Fitr on that. Check with the Sheikh, if you skip that, what do you do about it? For zakat, you can give it all year long. If you calculated it, there are a lot of needy people around this Houston and all over the world. Of course, you can give it to your family, the needy people who have related to you with blood. And beyond that, you should give it to the poor all over the world. And your town and all over. ISGS has a system also, you can give it to them. And also, beyond that, if you have a lot, give it to the charities that are working, people who are doing social activism and going to Congress and so on, which bring the topic. Don't forget Gaza and what's happening. May Allah protect those people. May Allah make them successful in whatever they're doing. Really, it's been what they thought that they can wipe out Palestinians from this land, their land, it hasn't happened. Inshallah, it will not happen. They are still steadfast, and may Allah give them more strength and turn their enemies into whatever, like Ababil did to the Saul field. So may Allah send us help. All we can do is make dua and take part in activism, write to congressmen, whatever. Let's not stop. It's working. It is working to some extent, and inshallah this calamity will go away. So just keep making dua for them and donate to charities that are working in Gaza, and do whatever you can. Go to vigils and protest, whatever you can. Write to congressmen, whatever you can do. Don't forget. Don't think that it's not going to affect. If all of us are doing something, that is taking effect. May Allah help us with that. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم ثبتنا على الإسلام اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأتم وأهم وأكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون أقم الصلاة. Reestablish your lines. Move closer, come forward if you can, make room for people, because I was told outside that make sure you tell people, because there are people standing outside apparently. So let them all come in. They're telling me there is room to the right of me and left of you, so please.
There's space on my right side, left side from there, please come in so you can fill the stops. We should be able to accommodate everybody in today. Keep on moving to the right. Please don't stand over there. Just keep on moving to the right. My right, your left. Thank you. Appreciate it. Could be a set.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. Please get close to each other, do not leave any gaps, and pray like it's your last prayer before facing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه قرنا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak. Thank you everybody for coming. I want to thank Brother Aslam Merchant for this nice khutbah and a good reminder for all of us. At the risk of hearing from our khatib, I'm going to say Ramzan is over, the best night of the year is over, but the Lord of Ramadan is still here. The Lord of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was here before, during, and after. So please continue to worship the Lord of the heavens and earth. Please come back to the masjid whenever you can. Please continue the habit. Thank you very much. I want to thank our organizers who organized the Eid prayers. Alhamdulillah, from Allah's blessing, this was a tremendous success. I've heard nothing but good from everyone. I thank everyone for coming and participating. I want to thank Tamim and his group for organizing to make this happen, and also thank the group from Maryam Masjid who was involved in organizing. Thank you. Allahu Akbar. We have this weekend, we have the food bank tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. There will be family program after Maghrib tonight by Imam Tawqir Shah, our usual program. And then in terms of construction, the loop on my right is done. The school building construction has started. You will see the construction fence in the back. Just be aware of that. Just be careful. We have asked them not to do any construction work that will interfere with our parking on Fridays. But just be aware of the construction going on. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. And one more thing, if you have pledged, please fulfill your pledge. We need all the help we can get. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Second Juma, 4 o'clock today, Salat at 4:20. Okay, thank you. 4 o'clock and 4:20.